Hi, this morning I woke up and we usually wake up really early at our house. For us, sleeping in, if we sleep in till 6 o'clock, then that's sleeping in. So I know that's really different than a lot of people, but that's just the way it is, and that's kind of how my time clock is set. So I woke up really early this morning and just was thinking about gratefulness and some of the things that I'm grateful for. Truly, I was thinking about my parents quite a bit. Both my mom and dad have August birthdays, and so this is August the 1st, and so I was thinking about that. And also thinking about my father, who he's going to be having bypass surgery August 25th, so thinking about that. But also just thinking about how grateful I am for the parents that I was blessed with, because they truly have been a blessing to me just throughout my life. Some of the things that I thought about that I'm so grateful for. I grew up in a place called Crow Valley up in North Georgia, very close to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And in Crow Valley, I just have to tell you, it's probably one of the most beautiful places you can imagine. It was in a valley. And yeah, there were lots of crows there, not only the birds, but also there was even a family, the crows. I don't know if they have any connection to the name or not, but hi Wendy. Wendy grew up close by there too. In fact, we rode the bus together to school every day. But it was just such a beautiful place, and we had some acreage out there, and so my dad had cows. We had a pond, and our pond, people would come and fish in our pond all the time, and there was like a little picnic shelter down by our pond, and so sometimes we would have church gatherings down there, and people would bring their food, and we'd have a potluck. We had a big garden, and I remember many memories of helping pick the garden and weed the garden. We had bees, which was super fun because we had fresh honey. There were plum trees around one end of the yard, and in our backyard there was this enormous pecan tree with another pecan tree over in the garden close by. And so this pecan tree was so big that it took up much of the backyard, and the limbs just came down, and my sister and I would go, and like in the summertime they would like make a little shelter, and we would pretend that those were our little houses out in the backyard. It was just a beautiful, beautiful place to grow up. And then the house that we lived in was actually a very, very old house. It had originally been built. Hi, Lenore. It originally had been a 2-room house made of mud bricks that Indians had built. And so that house had been added onto and added onto and added onto. And we moved into that house when I was in the 1st grade. And it was wintertime when we moved in, and it was a very, very, very cold winter. This house had no insulation in it. So also no heat and no air. Hi, Keith. And so what my parents did was they got a wood burning stove and put that in the living room. Eventually they had some insulation put in the walls, and some little wall heaters throughout the house were eventually put in. But that first winter was a very, very cold winter. And so I grew up with 3 siblings. I'm number 3 in order. I have a brother 3 years older than me, John Grant, and a sister who is about 15 months older than me. Allison Sutton is her name. And then I have a younger brother who is 7 years younger than me. And so my younger brother, Tim Grant, who lives in the Nashville area now, he actually was born that winter. And so it was just, we loved it. I mean, it was just this beautiful, beautiful place to grow up. And so some of the other memories I have of that is going out and picking blackberries, because there were blackberries growing all over the property out there. Just going for walks and hikes out through that property. There was a waterfall. There was a not really a mountain, but they called it Rocky Face Mountain there, and so we would hike up the mountain and out that direction too. There was a waterfall that you could hike up to, and so it was just beautiful. Now, my parents are not perfect people, just like me and everybody else. They're doing the best they can, and they did the best they could with us, and I'm just so grateful for them, for the place that I grew up, for the people that they are, because they are good Christian people. They took us to church and taught us about Jesus, and just set such an example. Growing up, I remember one story about my parents. Our church was looking for a new preacher, and there was a fella, I don't remember his name, and he came and interviewed for the job, and the church was getting ready to hire him, and I think maybe had even offered him the job, and then something came out about his past, and they decided not to hire him. And I don't know why or what or all the details, but my parents somehow had really connected with this man. I think he was a really good man. And so Wendy, they were the best blackberries. And so this man, he ended up getting a preaching job at another church. I don't know where. Hi, David. And but like I said, my parents have really connected with him. And so one of the things that they did, they gifted him a car. And that made a big impact on me, because my parents were people who were very generous, and they wanted to help other people. And when they saw a need, if they could meet that need, they reached out and they did that. And I'm just so grateful for that example that they set for me. I'm feeling emotional talking about it, because I'm so grateful. And the thing about gratefulness and fear do not hold hands, and they do not go together. My husband and I just a week or so ago finished doing a Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. It was a virtual event for 4 days, and this was something Tony Robbins talked about quite a bit, that to conquer your fears, one of the ways you do that is being grateful and building habits into your life that help you to realize and to see and to be grateful for all the blessings that you have. And so we have been doing some things and formed some habits that are really helping me to be grateful for what I have. And so my parents are just some people that I'm very grateful for and thankful for all that they have done for me through the years, and the example that they have set, and the example that they continue to set. And if you know them, Larry and Flory Grant, they are people who want to help other people, and I think that that's one of the big reasons that God put us here on this earth, is to help each other and to hold each other up and to encourage each other. And so just some of my thoughts for today. And so I want to encourage you to be grateful and look around you and think about the many blessings that are in your life, because guys, COVID-19, you know what? If you're going to focus on that, where your focus goes, the energy flows, right? And so don't focus on that. Focus on what you're grateful for, because even in the midst of all this craziness, we have so much to be grateful for. And so I'm going to continue to put my energy into that and focus my energy there, and to be grateful for the many, many blessings that I have.